All right, so hopefully the AC isn't too loud. I, I realize that filming in the living room presents some challenges because I have the AC supply coming right over us, which I live in Arizona, so it's required to have AC, even though it's May, or I guess it's even though it's early June, it's 110 degrees. So welcome to life in the desert. But I guess today's topic is finding your purpose, whatever that is, right? So like I had vlogged previously, about 2 weeks ago, I went out to Sedona for a Hearing from God retreat. Basically, it was to kind of get closer in community with God and our church. But I think one of the things that I have been praying for, one of the things that I've been really trying to kind of focus in, especially here in 2025, is kind of what my purpose is. I'm a husband, I'm a father. Obviously, those are very important items to drive a purpose-driven life from. I have a great job. I go to a great church, great friends, train at a great gym. But I feel like this was the year that I just feel like this was the year that God was telling me like to kind of press in and to not have these pipe dreams. One of the things about me is that I will procrastinate. Take that back. If I want something, I'll do it. If I feel like it's the right move, I'll do it. But I am the guy that will do so much research, so much studying, and if I don't feel like it's attainable, I tend to not try. Which is the reason why I'm kind of doing the vlogging thing, is because I feel like it's something that I've always wanted to do, since I started getting into photography and videography, but just never had the balls to do it, for lack of a better word. And so this year, this is my stretch year. This is the year that I want to stretch myself, spiritually, mentally, physically, training more, going to the gym more, eating healthier, studying. I want to be fluent in Spanish, or at least close to as fluent as I can be by the end of the year. I want to compete in jiu-jitsu. I want to press in deeper in my faith. I want to be just more active in that capacity. So, one of the things I've been praying for is kind of finding purpose, and I think that the problem with a lot of people is that we try to rush it, right? We try to define what that purpose is ourselves and not kind of let it come to us. And I feel like that's where I've often struggled with. It's like I'm trying to chase something that maybe is not for me, trying to measure myself up to standards that aren't really for me, right? So whatever my path is something that God's ordained for me, and I really just need to be mindful and present to hear that direction. And I think that I've kind of come to grips since that retreat in just being fine with the slow process, being fine with just moving at God's pace, right? Not trying to rush anything. It's on His time, not my time. And I think in that it's allowed me to kind of stop and smell the roses and appreciate the journey. And in that, I feel like there are things that are kind of manifesting themselves that, I hate to use the word manifest. In this journey, I feel like there are things that are presenting themselves as, a certain calling and trusting in discernment to feel the urging and nudging of the Lord in a particular direction. So just trying to be diligent. And I guess my words of advice to anyone out there is that if you're dealing with the same thing, I would say just be patient. I feel like this society has really kind of created this level of false expectations, right? With all, and talking to someone who's posting this video on YouTube, there's so many things that you see that you compare yourself to, whether it's in social media or on YouTube or just within your friend group or just in society, the way that it's marketing things to you, where you feel like you have to be a certain way. This vlog has to be a certain way. This photos, my social media needs to be a certain way. My TikToks, everything needs to be a certain way because I'm comparing it to other people who I feel like are successful or have some level of appreciation for, and I want to emulate that style. But everyone's got their own unique voice. And I think that's the beauty of it, is like, especially in a creative capacity, everyone's got their own voice, their own style. And I think when I stopped really trying to copy everyone's kind of, or what I thought was the style, or thought the way of doing videos, thought the way of, editing photos, is when I really kind of fully, I think my work got better when I did it for myself and wasn't trying to be a cheap knockoff imitation of somebody else. And that's in anything, right? Whether it's in my day job, with just, how I interact with people, strangers on the streets. I just want to be authentically me. And I think in that's where you kind of meet where the passion that tugs at your heart, which is designed to lead you to what it is that your purpose is, right? And so for some people that may be in creativity and creative arts, some people that may be in, whatever the case may be, helping, those in need, or being an advocate, or, or being a voice for those who don't have voices. All of which are commendable. But I think that when we try to rush what our calling is when we stumble, when we fail, when we get discouraged, when we question why, and then we just ultimately give up. And I've been guilty of that in so many things that I've thought was my purpose or my goal or my ambition. And maybe they were false idols. Maybe I was chasing the wrong thing. Maybe I was chasing, this level of stature or notoriety or financial gain that doesn't really give you the fulfillment that other things, maybe non-monetarily or non-materialistic, may provide. And that's, that's a struggle for a lot of us, I feel like. But again, this year is the year that I'm really trying to be intentional in everything that I do, be mindful in everything that I do, and be considerate in everything that I do, so that I am aligned in the way that the Lord has designed me, and I'm walking out kind of what His purpose is, I guess, and kind of walking out what His goal, or what His desire is for me to do. I mean, God's God. Like, I'm not gonna, say that I know better, or this is my design, God. You're wrong. But I just need to be mindful of what He's trying to tell me and position me, and then be obedient and walking in that direction, whatever that may be. And that may not be creativity. That may not be, doing amazing video projects. Maybe that's not what I'm supposed to do. But maybe it is to vlog. Maybe it is to share my thoughts, kind of like an online journal. Kind of share my fears, and be transparent and be honest with everybody out there, because I feel like sometimes it's difficult, especially for someone like me, to share my thoughts and feelings when growing up you're kind of confronted with this thought from your peers that to show emotion, to show any kind of weakness, is a fault, and only the best survive, the best of the best, right? So where that creates this toxic process of internalizing your feelings and not being transparent, or trying to portray some kind of machismo that masks maybe some hurt. Whatever the case may be, I'm not saying that's the right way, but I'm trying to be now walking in this transparency where I'm like, I got fears, I got anxiety, I got doubt, I got all these things that, if you had asked me 10 years ago, I would have completely rejected those kinds of notions, let alone share it with anybody. So I'm just I guess my closing thoughts as I kind of ramble here on the couch is really just to be patient, be diligent, be obedient, be observant. Just kind of walk out and do some meditating and some self-reflection, and kind of see what your heart's desires are leading you to, and be mindful to and discern that if that's the way, the path that you need to take, whether that's God, or if you don't believe in God, whatever higher power or motivation you feel is calling you to that. Obviously, I'm Christian, so I believe that God is my divine creator and the architect and author of my life. So whatever that looks like, I feel like it's already been in His hands, which helps me with my anxiety, if I'm being honest with you. Once I got saved, it was one of those things of fear, doubt, and anxiety kind of decreased, because I'm like, oh, God's got me. God's got me. No matter what happens, God's got me. Good, the bad, the ugly, God's got me. In the mountaintops, because of God. In the valleys, it doesn't matter. God's got me. So that's really helped me from personally speaking. It's really helped me kind of find a renewed sense of encouragement and strength and courage. So if that's something that maybe you struggle with, I maybe would say turn to the Bible. There's a lot. God's promised us a lot as His beloved, and it's never designed to be evil against us. It's designed to be a good father. And while that may not seem like it's fair or in our best interest, at times, ultimately His ways are better. And as a kid, you can probably relate. Parents probably told you things you didn't want to do. Dad and mom probably told you things you didn't want to do, and you want to rebel against it. I mean, I rebel, God, it's like daily sometimes. But it doesn't mean that my parents didn't love me. It just meant they were looking out for me. And that's kind of how I view my relationship with God. I don't feel like He hates me or has this vendetta against me with the way I'm kind of supposed to live my life, but I feel like it's designed for my benefit and my growth and my strength. And that just kind of helps me out in those moments where I feel like I don't know what I'm supposed to do in life. I don't know where I'm at. Am I having a midlife crisis? What is going on? I don't know. I do find that there's some comfort in knowing that, as long as I'm faithful, as long as I'm dutiful and patient, kind and obedient, that the Lord will guide those footsteps and lead me to where He wants me to be. So, again, all I have to say is, I was thinking about this the other day where I was like, man, I'm really thankful for my excursion out to Sedona for this retreat, because it did allow me to kind of focus in on some things that I felt like I wasn't focusing in on, and growing closer in proximity, and just being more attentive to kind of this journey that I'm on right now of self-discovery, and just kind of trying to level up for 2025, for my own personal, growth, not necessarily for anything else, but my own personal growth, including vlogging. I think that's something that I need to step out in faith on and be diligent with. And so I appreciate everybody kind of being along for the journey with me on this. So until the next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.